여러분 안녕하세요. 네, 우선 오늘 아주 스페셜 게스트 저랑 같이 왔습니다. 우리 친한 친구 그레이스 리, 이번에 처음으로 한인분이 맨하탄에서 처음 여인 한인분이 뉴욕 스테이트에서 정치 지금 들어가고 있고, 제가 2년 전에 저한이랑 이 Asian American History Curriculum을 스폰서했지만은 이제는 그레이스한테 넘겼습니다. 그레이스가 이제 메인 스폰서하고 저는 코 스폰서하고 이렇게 열심히 같이 일하면서 이거를 통과하려고 하고 있습니다. 이 많은 분들이 오늘 지금 오랫동안 왜 이게 중요하다는 것을 역사부터 오늘까지 말 잘 해줬습니다. 한국말 조금 서툴러서 죄송한데 괜찮아요? 이해합니까? 괜찮아죠? 네, 이게 저한테는 이거는 하나의 우리 동양인 rights, 우리 정치라는 건 제일 심플합니다. 우리의 사람들의 right를 protect하고 strength하나 아니면은 다른 political right를 없애고 싸우고 있습니다. 근데 우리 동양인들 right는 진짜 없어요, 그 나라에서. 진짜 많이 없어요. 우리가 as workers, small business owners, 뭘 하나 다른 타민족, 다른 커뮤니티보다 진짜 strength right가 많이 없습니다. 근데 그런 거를 우리가 바꾸려면은 우리의 역사, 우리도 여기 미국을 다시 쉐입할 수 있는 똑같은 백그라운드가 있는 사람들이다. 우리 미국의 fabric 똑같은 fabric 똑같이 있는 사람들이다. 그런 역사를 하나씩 가르쳐줘야지만은 우리의 next generation이 우리처럼 어렵게 안 크고 다 이렇게 foreigner처럼 안 보이고 그런 스테레오타입 없이 살 수 있는 게 목표입니다. 그레이스도 딸이 셋이 있습니다. 그래서 combined 6명 섹션이 진짜 next generation을 지금 스테이크가 큰 정치인을 둘이 됐습니다. 이제 저 그레이스한테 말 좀 해주려고 넘기겠습니다.
So my Korean is not as good as Ron's. I am further evidence, along with Professor Yeo, that there are Asians in the Midwest. I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, very far from large Asian communities, although I did go to my parents raised me in a Korean church there. That's where all the Koreans were. So for me, I had a very different experience than what my daughters have growing up in New York City, where there are a lot of Asians. I was the only one, me and my brothers were the only Asians in our school. And so we faced a really different experience growing up. We experienced a lot of racism and a lot of remarks constantly about us, about what I looked like, who I was, where am I from, always feeling like a foreigner. And until the 1988 Olympics, people didn't even know what Korea was. So we were very happy in Cleveland to see the Olympics hosted in Korea, because that was an opportunity to educate people in Ohio about the country and about our culture. And I was really proud, even as a young child, to participate in a lot of traditional Korean activities. I did fan dancing and drum dancing, and grew up with a small tight-knit Korean community. But what my parents always told me: just work hard, study hard, and you can succeed. And so I did that, and I had the opportunity. I went to Columbia for undergrad and came to New York. It was a great opportunity. Went to the University of Chicago for business school, and then came back here and started a career. But ultimately, we've seen over the last couple of years that we cannot ignore the hate and racism towards our community. Even those slight, small gestures that you experience on a daily basis, when people say something to you under their breath, or they, treat you a certain way because of what you look like. Because we see how that racism and hatred towards Asians ultimately can lead to violence and death. And in my community, I represent Lower Manhattan, which is the financial Financial District, Lower East Side, and Chinatown, we had the tragic murder of Christina Yuna Lee, which really, struck me in my core, because she is a daughter of Korean immigrants. She was a professional, enjoying her life in New York City, and she was just walking home from a night out with her friends, and was tragically murdered. And so that is a reminder to all of us that we cannot outwork and out-succeed racism. And that if we do not have a seat at the table, if we are not fighting fighting against the hate and the racism and fighting for equality, that we can't get away from it. And so that's why it is so important for me, and I thank Assemblymember Ron Kim for allowing me to sponsor this bill, to take it over, and to really fight for it. Right now in our state legislature now, we have 10 Asian American legislators between the state assembly and the state senate. This is the most Asian American representation that we've ever had in the state. And I want to thank Senator Liu, I want to thank Assemblymember Ron Kim for being the trailblazers and helping to pave the path for people like me and others to represent our communities. That representation has really made a difference. We just finalized our state budget, and the governor of the state legislature is dedicating $30 million to Asian American organizations across New York State. This is the most money that the Asian American community has ever received in the state budget. We need to do more. And that now they are starting to see us and recognize that we need support like other communities, but it's now time for them to acknowledge us in their policies, not just with their wallets, but with their policies, and making sure that we can teach Asian American curriculum in history classes all across New York State. That's very important. So, I hope that you will all support us in helping to make that happen. Tell people about this bill. Tell them about what we are trying to do, and encourage them to support all this work. Thank you to CASE. Thank you to Sanctuary for supporting us and letting us be here. And thank you, everyone.